So as always, I'm going to start off with a student and her journey. And the reason that I share these is to help you feel motivated and see the possibilities of you scoring into the 90s. So this is what the student had to say um, about her journey. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, she got her score in just 2 months with consistent progress. And take a look at this. So she's also saying I felt that I could never achieve a 90. So that thing is so repetitive with a lot of students. Like although we do say that this is the score we want, deep down we're feeling like, can I do it? Will I get it? And that's the whole idea of showing these because so many students have alhamdulillah are getting their scores. So you can definitely be one of them too. The only thing you have to do is stay consistent and just follow through with your GT instructor every single day. I'm going to share her score. How much did she end up getting at the end of today's session? Let's get started. We're practicing questions. So evaluate the first question. Aisha, especially because you mentioned that arithmetic is a bit challenging. There are a few, I would say the maximum number of rules that we need to learn are for arithmetic, mainly because we can't use a calculator. If I had a calculator, I would just punch this whole thing in and get the answer. But because I cannot, um, uh, I'll just go step by step. So these are all square numbers. Square numbers are mandatory to learn. And I do see the square root. So 1/4 is actually 2, is 1/2. 16 is 4 square, and 9 square is 81. So those are the numbers that I have here. So why is this not working? So when I take the square root off, square root, the inside square root is 4/9. And then I have this outside, which is 1/4, and square root of the whole thing again. So if you see the 4 and the 4, they actually cancel out with each other. The only thing I am left with is square root of 1/9, which is 1/3. Oh, my bad. The square root actually just goes off then, right? Because I already did the square root of 9, which is 3. So the answer is 1/3, which is B. Let me show you. Um, find the angle X in the triangle if the triangle is equilateral. So if this is an equilateral triangle, um, as you can see, the top part is split into 20, 20, 20. Because this is an equilateral triangle, this is X and this will also be X because it's all equal. So 20, X and X is going to give me 180, which are angles of a triangle. 180 take off 20 is 160. So 160 is going to be equal to the 2x over here. That means x is 80. X is 80, which is answer option D. Let's move on to the next question. There are two numbers. One of the numbers is the reverse of the other. The difference between them is 18. This is a very common question that comes up. It's been coming since years now. What is one of the numbers? Because it's a word problem, and then they say that there are two numbers. One is the reverse of the others. The difference between them is 18. So very quickly, what I'm going to do is just look at these numbers, reverse them, and see, can the difference be 18 or not? I can do this mentally. I'm writing it down so that it is easy for you to see and internalize as well. 36 and 63, or 64 and 46. 42 and 27, 70 and 07. So I just reversed these numbers. And if you see the difference between 70 and 07 will be too large. I'm looking for 18. I'm looking for the number 18. The difference between them is 18. 27 and 72 looks large as well. It's almost like 50. 64 and 46 is actually 18. The difference between 64 and 46 is actually 18. The ratio of what is the question number 4? What is the ratio of area of triangle to a rectangle? This is a question that can be done mentally. When I look at the rectangle, and then when I look at the triangle, what's the ratio of them? If you see it starts from one corner, from the other corner, and it's covering, it's just a little bit shifted. It's almost like half of it. Just the top part is a little bit shifted. So I'm going to go with the half. Yeah, I'm just going to go with the looks of it, and it looks like 1/2, especially because if you see the bottom 2 points in the left and the right, it's covering the whole entire, it's almost, think of it like this. That's half the triangle, right? That's half the rectangle. The only thing that happened is that this point is shifted a little bit. So I'm going to go with half. Again, very common question, repeats so much. Question number 5. If the sum of 4 consecutive integers is 46, what's the largest number? Consecutive, that means it's one after the other. I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to go with x. I'm going to say x plus 1. I'm going to say x plus 2. And x plus 3. So those for me are 4 consecutive numbers. And what I have to do is just figure it out, because what they're saying is the sum of all of them is 46. So when I add all of them, I get a 46. So how many x's do we have here? 3 x's. And if I add the rest of the numbers, I have 1, 2, and 3, which is actually 6. Oh, sorry, this is 4. My bad. We have 4 x's, right? SubhanAllah, like none of you told me. 1 and 6. Okay, so 4x and 6 is what is 46. And then all I'm doing is just solving. Take out 6 from the 46, you're left with 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10, so x is 10. Now, what was the question? I'll tell you something. There is a very good chance that you're just going to circle A10 and move on. But they said, what's the largest number? So they're not looking to get the first number. They're looking to get the last number, which is 10 plus 3, 13. That's the answer. So question number 6, if the area of the square is 100, find the area of the circle. Okay, interesting. Area of the square is 100. So that means one side is 10. Side square is 10. Area of the circle is pi. The only thing that I need to find out is r. And this is the diameter. Half of it is going to be r. How do I get the diameter? Diameter is side square plus side square is hypotenuse square, which is diameter. So diameter square root of 10 square plus 10 square. That's 200. Is that 200? Yeah. I guess 10 square plus 10 square, which is 100, 200. Square root of 200. So that's the diameter. I'm going to divide it by 2 to get the radius. So radius is, so this is what I'm filling in right now. Radius, so square root of 200 is what the whole diameter is. Radius is half of it. So I'm going to say square root of 200 divided by 2. I next to it. And this is square, right? So I'll do square of this and square of this. When I do square of 200, I actually just end up getting 200. It says square root and square. And the 2 square is going to be 4. So it's basically just solving. 200 by 4 is 50. So it's basically just solving. I'll go over it one more time because it was pretty long. The thing is that it can be done in mentally. I wrote everything down so that you can internalize it better. They gave us the area of the square, which is 100. They gave us the area of the square, which is 100. And then they asked us the area of the circle. So this is the area of the circle, pi r square. For that, what I need is the radius. Radius is what I'm looking to find. As soon as I find the radius, I know the answer. But how do I get the radius? Because they've given me this number over here, 10, I can use this triangle 10, 10, and get the hypotenuse over here. I use the formula for the hypotenuse, which is this one over here. Hypotenuse square equals side square plus side square to get the radius. I found that value, plugged it in over here, in the radius, pi r square. And the rest of it is just solving to get my answer 50 pi. I hope. A man bought a car for 100,000 Saudi riyals. He pays 5,000. So every time that a word problem comes in, usually students have issues with word problems simply because word problem. But the additional thing that happens when it's GAT style questions is that there can be some trickiness in here. So we always need to keep an eye out for that. Is there any tricky part to this question or not? So a man bought a car for 100,000 Saudi riyals and paid 5,000 every month for 2 years. That means he actually ended up paying for 1 year is 12. 12 times 5,000 is actually 60,000. And then he paid for 2 years. That's 260,000s, which is actually 120,000. So he bought a car for 100,000 because he was paying for on a monthly basis. He actually ended up paying 20,000 more. He ended up paying 20,000 more. Now, the company's earning. So he was only supposed to give the company 100,000, but he ended up giving 120,000. That means 20,000 is the extra that the company made. 20,000 is the extra that the company made. This was the profit that they made over the total, which was 100,000. This formula comes up so much, we need to internalize it. The formula for the profit percentage, which is what they're asking us over here. So this is what's going to give us the answer, which is the profit percentage formula. Zeros cancel out with the zeros. And we're left with 20% B. We use the profit percentage formula, which is the profit out of the total times 100, which is in this blue box over here. We know the total is 100,000. That's how much the car was. the profit is 20,000 because the customer ended up paying 20,000 more than they should have because they were paying on a monthly basis for 2 years. Every month paying 5,000. So we just calculated how much did they actually pay for 2 years, and then that's how we worked out the percentage profit. Because the numbers are so simple, the numbers are so simple. It's very easy to do this mentally, but of course it depends on how much mental math you're using while doing the training. The more you practice, the easier it gets. When the numbers are too complicated, then it's difficult to do mental math. But because these numbers are simple with so many zeros, it's actually can be easy to work that out. So Um, these kind of questions can throw students off simply because they don't have any numbers. It's algebra with a lot of variables, A, X, B, Y, and they're literally no numbers. But just check out how simple and easy this can actually be, which is the nature of GT questions. They're simple and easy once we overcome the first hiccup. So when I see this question, I need to remind myself, it's okay, you got it. Deep breathe in, deep breathe out, and just say Bismillah and do your best. That's it. That's all we need. So they've given us this whole thing on the left-hand side, and then they're saying, hey, what is x squared and y squared? I do see x squared and y squared over here, so I'm going to start solving it in a way that I can move from here to here, try and get it, the answer. I'm only going to give it 1 minute per question. If within the 30 seconds this makes sense to me, I'll continue. If it's all jumbled up and I'm not getting to an answer, these kind of questions can kind of get you in. Those math questions where, I just got it. I know I got it. And then the next thing you know is it's been 5 minutes you've been solving those questions. So it does have the tendency to be like that. So all the x's, I'm going to get the x's on the same side and the y's on the same side. So I already have a x squared here. I'm going to get the bx squared on this side as well. Oh, my bad. And then I'm going to get the y's on the other side. Y's on the other side. Y squared. I've got the y terms on the same side. Take it out common. A plus B. Now, what's happening is A plus B is actually common on both the sides. I can actually just divide both sides with A plus B, and this goes off completely. Once that's done, I'm going to try and match this to what I have here in the question. X squared, bring y on the other side, it becomes negative y squared, which is going to be nothing, 0. So if you think about it, it wasn't that complicated, but it's just the nature of it with a, b, x plus minus square. This kind of question does have the tendency to take a toll on you. As long as you can keep yourself centered and anchored, go ahead and attempt it under 1 minute. If you start feeling flustered, skip it. If it's the test, you just skip it. And even with practice, even when you're practicing, 1 minute per question. Never spend more than 1 minute per question anywhere. If you want to spend more time, 1 minute per question, then start, and that's it, move on. And then come back to it after 10 minutes. Come back to it at the end of the session. Come back to it the next day, next week. Don't spend more than 1 minute at any question if you want to maintain a healthy habit of, managing time during your test. Next question, guys. Question number 9. Suppose these are villages, and L is, and now even this question can have the tendency of kind of confusing us. And remember, GAT questions are aptitude questions, and they have trickiness in them. Expect it so that you aren't tricked. These are villages. L is east of M, was west of N. C is southeast of L. F is southeast of N, which is the furthest west. Okay, so it's about directions. It's a very common repeated question, but it doesn't come up that often. I mean, it's been coming up since years, but it would be like, for example, just one in the whole paper or one every few months, but it's worth internalizing because it does come up again and again. It's been coming up for years now. With numbers change, letters change, of course. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is this. L was east of M. If L was east and M was west of N. So if I take a look at the first sentence, there's N first of all, and L is east of it, M is west of it. L is east, M was west, C is southeast, southeast is C, and F is of L, sorry, my bad. C is southeast of L, and F is southeast of N. Then which is the furthest west? This is the furthest west. One more thing I want you to pay attention to is L is east, so that's not west. M is west. M is the only thing that's been highlighted as west. C is east, some sort of east. L and F is also east. Do you see how everything in the question itself, even if you can't mentally picture it, in the question itself, everything is towards the east. The only thing is towards the west is M, which is the answer. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you understood it. Guys, if the arc AB is pi over 4, so this is pi over 4. Find the measure of AMB. This angle is what they want. Now the angle is very much directly proportional to the whole thing. The whole thing is 2 pi. The whole entire circle is 2 pi. This is only a part of it. What part of it is it? So let me just say, the whole thing is 2 pi, and this arc is pi over 4. And pi over 4. That means this is 1/8 of the circle. From 2 pi to pi over 4. This part is 1/8 of a circle. This is the first part to understand. For example, think of it like 2 sandwiches and a quarter sandwich. What just happened? What happened from 2 sandwiches to a quarter sandwich? A quarter is 1/8 of two sandwiches. I hope I'm not confusing you even more. So to go from 2 pi to quarter pi, that means it's divided by 8. So I'm going to do the same exact thing to the angle. I know that the whole entire angle of the circle, 1/8, 1/8 of it, 360 divided by 8, is 45. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it would be pi divided by 4. Because the thing is, what I'm trying to do here is I don't want you to do this mentally. I want you to, sorry, I don't want you to do this on paper. I want you to somehow do this mentally. That if this is pi divided by 4, then how much is this? So for example, if this was pi, which is half, 2 pi is the whole thing, and pi is only half of it. So if 360 is the whole thing, half of it is 180. Let me draw this over here as a relationship so you can see. This is the arc. This is the arc length of the whole circle, and this is the angle of the whole circle, 360 degrees. So for example, if this was pi, then 360 would also half to 180. If this was pi divided by 2, then 180 would also divide by 2, which is 90. If this is again going to be divided by 4, which is what the question is, pi divided by 4, then 90 would again be divided by 2, which is 45. And that's the answer. So I hope it makes sense. You can actually do this part. You can do that mentally. You don't actually need to do this on paper. This can be done mentally. Sequence questions, pretty straightforward. If you see the pattern 7, when it moves into the next tens, a number drops. It's not 17 to 16. When it moves into the 20s, it's not 26 to 25. When it moves into the 30s, it's not 35, it's 34. And when it moves forward, it's not 30, it's not going to be 44, it's going to be 43. So C is your answer. If you want to find the difference between them, it's actually 9. Every time we're adding on 9. So we add on 9 here to get the answer. And that would be the last question. I do see there is a message in the chat box. I'm going to come to it. I'll just want to cover, remember we were speaking about Dania or before we started today's session, and alhamdulillah, mashallah, tabarakallah, she got a 15% score jump within 2 months with consistent study. Do not skip any days, study every single day. There's so many students out there who are actually achieving their scores, and definitely you can be the one to achieve your score, the dream score that you're aiming to get. Inshallah, study every single day and just do your part. Even if the days that you don't feel like studying, don't keep it at 0. Just do a review. Just do a 25 question, 25 questions on that day. 30 minutes is not too much. This is a test that can really have a huge impact on how your future unfolds. So please do give it your best within these few months that you're focusing on it. And yeah, I hope you were motivated enough with Dania's story to be able to get a score of your own as well. And then as far as the questions are concerned, I hope that today's session was understandable. I hope that, before starting today's session, and there's a difference between starting and ending today's session, you feel more anchored, motivated to be able to get the score that you're looking to achieve, inshallah.